Ever ever stood there looking at a long cocktail menu and just felt completely lost?
Oh, yeah, like decoding some secret language.
Exactly. Or, maybe you want to make drinks at home, impress friends, but it just seems, I don't know, complicated. Where do you even begin?
It really does seem that way sometimes, I get it. But
Yeah.
honestly, the basics, the real foundations, they're actually pretty straightforward once you grasp a couple of key ideas.
Okay, good. Because that's what we're doing today,
Yeah.
right? A deep dive into Cocktail 101.
Exactly. We want to demystify it for you, give you the essential building blocks so you can start mixing great drinks at home confidently.
Without needing like a million weird bottles or anything.
Right. The goal here is foundational knowledge. A few simple formulas, the core techniques. We've looked at expert guides, the basics, to pull out what you really need to know to get started.
Consider it your cocktail starter pack. Okay, so let's get into it. Where do we start to make sense of all the different drinks out there?
Well, the absolute key is understanding balance and structure. Think of it maybe like cooking or building blocks.
Okay.
Most cocktails rely on a balance between four main components: the spirit, something sweet, something sour, and often bitters.
Right. Spirit is the base alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gin, whiskey, vodka, that kind of thing.
Exactly. That's your main flavor, your foundation. Then the sweet and sour components work against that, creating balance.
So we're blood sugar.
Yeah, often simple syrup, which is literally just sugar and water,
Yeah.
but it could be agave, honey, maple syrup, even sweet liquors.
And sour is the citrus, lime, lemon.
Usually, yeah. Lime, lemon, grapefruit juice, freshly squeezed is key. We'll come back to that. And then bitters, they're like the salt and pepper. Tiny amounts, but they add complexity, tie it all together.
Okay, so spirit, sweet, sour, bitters, finding that harmony.
Precisely. And, beyond just taste, think about the other senses too. Temperature. Is it ice cold? How does it look? The texture. Even the smell before you sip. It all adds up.
It's the whole experience.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense as a framework.
Hmm.
Now, I've heard whispers about a kind of golden rule, a ratio.
Ah, yes. The bartender's secret weapon, you could say. It's a fantastic starting point, super versatile, often called the golden ratio.
Okay, lay it on me.
It's typically 2 part spirit, 1 part sweet, and 1 part tart. 2-1-1.
2 spirit, 1 sweet, 1 tart. That sounds almost too simple.
It sounds simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Think about how many drinks you can unlock with just that one formula.
How so? Like they're just swapping things out.
Exactly. Let's try it. Keep the 2.1.1 ratio. Spirit tequila, sweet, agave syrup, tart, fresh lime juice. What's that?
Tequila, agave, lime. Gotta be a margarita.
Bingo. Okay, now same tequila, same agave, but swap the lime for grapefruit juice.
Oh, Paloma.
You got it. See? Let's switch spirits. Rum is the base. Simple syrup for sweet, lime for tart.
Daiquiri. Classic.
Perfect. Now, same simple syrup, same lime, but use gin instead of rum.
Gin and lime. Gimlet.
Right. Or what about cachaça, that Brazilian spirit?
What?
With simple syrup and lime.
That's a caipirinha, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay. That one ratio really does cover a lot.
It really does. And you can vary the sweet part too, remember. Simple syrup is basic, but honey syrup, different fruit syrups, or even liqueurs work. Just keep in mind, liqueurs have alcohol, so you might adjust the main spirit slightly.
Right, to keep the balance. So this 2.1.1 is huge. You mentioned the Daiquiri, Gimlet, whiskey sour too. Are they all related, part of a family?
They absolutely are. They mostly fall under the sour cocktail family. That 2.1.1 ratio is a great guide, but the sour template itself, spirit, citrus, sweetener, is fundamental.
So the Daiquiri we just made, the rum one, what are the exact specs for a classic version of that sour?
Typically, you're looking at 2 ounces of rum. White rum is common, but exploring others is fun. Then 1 ounce of fresh lime juice, absolutely fresh, and about, say, half an ounce to maybe 3/4 of an ounce of simple syrup, depending on your taste.
Fresh lime juice. Crucial. Got it.
Non-negotiable, really. It makes such a difference.
Okay, what about the whiskey sour? Sounds a bit different, maybe with egg white.
Still follows the sour template. Whiskey, often bourbon lemon juice, and simple syrup. The egg white is optional, yeah. You shake it without ice. First, a dry shake to get it really frothy. Then shake again with ice. Adds a great texture.
Okay, dry shake first.
And then you have things like an amaretto sour, amaretto liqueur, lemon juice, maybe a touch of simple syrup because amaretto's already sweet. Some people even add a splash of bourbon to it.
Lots of variations on that sour theme. So sour spirit, citrus, sweet, that's a major family. Any other big ones we should be aware of, just for context?
Well, another really fundamental category is the ancestrals. These are kind of the OGs of
Like
cocktails.
the old-fashioned.
Exactly like the old-fashioned. The structure there is usually spirit, sweetener, like sugar or syrup water, which often comes from the ice melting, and bitters. Super simple, spirit-forward. We won't dive deep today, but it's good to know that family exists.
Okay, sours and ancestrals. Good context. All right, let's talk hardware. To actually make this stuff at home, what tools are essential?
Yeah, good question. You don't need a massive kit, but a few key things make a huge difference. Number one, a shaker.
For chilling and mixing, right?
Yep. Chills, mixes, and dilutes the drink properly with the ice. For beginners, there are two main types. The cobbler shaker has 3 pieces, including a built-in strainer top. Super convenient.
Okay, that sounds easy. What's the other one?
The Boston shaker. That's 2 parts, usually a metal tin and a mixing glass that fit together. It's what a lot of pros use, but you do need a separate strainer with it.
So cobbler might be the path of least resistance to start.
Could be, yeah. Whichever shaker you use, you'll likely need a strainer anyway.
Right, to keep the ice out of the glass.
Exactly. And any bits of fruit or herbs you muddled. The Hawthorne strainer, the one with the spring, goes with shakers. Then there's the julep strainer. Looks like a big perforated spoon, often used with mixing glasses for stirred drinks.
Okay. And sometimes you see people using a tiny sieve.
Ugh, yeah. A fine mesh strainer. That's for double straining. You pour through your main strainer and the fine mesh one catches tiny ice chips or pulp, gives you a really smooth drink. Optional, but nice.
Got it. Shaker, strainer. What else?
A jigger. Absolutely essential for measuring accurately.
Why so important? Can't you just eyeball it?
You could, but consistency is key for taste, you know? Plus, it helps you track how much alcohol you're actually pouring. Most jiggers are double-sided, like an hourglass shape, with different measures on each end. Often they have lines inside for smaller amounts, too.
Okay, measure carefully. Check. What about stirring? Need a special spoon?
A bar spoon helps, yeah.
Yeah.
They're long, often with a twisted handle. Great for getting down into a tall mixing glass and stirring smoothly without, like, sloshing things around too much.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And for mashing up fruit or herbs.
That's a muddler. Looks kind of like a small pestle. You use it to gently press fruits or herbs in the bottom of your shaker or glass. Yeah, key word is gently. You want to release the oils and juices, not pulverize everything into a bitter mess, especially with herbs like mint.
Right. Don't bash the mint. Okay, what else? Citrus juicer.
Definitely need a citrus juicer for that fresh juice we talked about. A simple handheld one works great. And a peeler, like a Y peeler for making citrus twists for garnish.
Garnish is okay.
And then maybe an ice bucket and tongs. Just keeps things clean, stops you grabbing ice with your hands, or, worse, the glass.
Good point. And a
Oh.
cutting board and small knife for prepping garnishes. Bottle opener, too, probably.
Yeah, that covers the basics pretty well.
Okay, solid starter kit. Now, we have the tools, the ingredients.
Yeah.
How do we actually mix? You mentioned shaking, but also stirring. When do you do which?
Good question. So shaking is generally for cocktails that have ingredients that need vigorous combining. Think citrus juices, syrups, cream, egg white, stuff that won't just mix easily by stirring.
Right, needs forcing together.
Exactly. The shaking chills it fast, dilutes it a bit with the ice melt, and emulsifies or aerates those ingredients. You shake hard for, say, 15-20 seconds until the shaker is really cold. Shaken drinks tend to look a bit cloudy.
Okay, shake the cloudy stuff. What about stirring then?
Stirring is for drinks where the ingredients combine easily and you want to keep it clear and smooth. Think spirit-forward drinks like martinis, Negronis, old fashions.
Or you don't want cloudiness or too much air.
Precisely. The goal is just chilling with controlled dilution while maintaining clarity. You stir gently with ice in a mixing glass, not the shaker usually using that long bar spoon. Maybe 20-30 seconds.
Got it. Shake for cloudy, stir for clear. What about just pouring stuff in the glass, like a gin and tonic?
Yeah, that's called building the drink. Perfectly fine for simple highballs where you're just combining a spirit and a mixer over ice directly in the serving glass.
Okay, and ice. You keep mentioning ice. That important?
Oh, absolutely critical. Ice isn't just for chilling. It is an ingredient. The melting ice provides dilution, which is essential to balance the flavors and alcohol. Using good, solid ice makes a difference, too.
Right. Ice. Ingredient. Noted. Okay, last touch. The garnish. They look great, but do they do anything else?
They definitely do. Yes, they make the drink look appealing, but often they add aroma, which massively impacts how we perceive flavor.
Like squeezing a lemon twist.
Exactly. That spray of citrus oil smells amazing and complements the drink. Sometimes the garnish adds flavor too, like eating the cherry or olive.
So, looks and function. What are the easy ones to start with? What tools again?
Yeah, you just need that sharp paring knife, maybe kitchen shears, and a good Y peeler usually. For citrus, you can do wheels.
Just a slice straight across.
Yep, or half wheels, which are slices, easy to cut a slit and pop on the rim. Wedges are good too for squeezing extra juice in.
Right.
And then the twist, essential for many classics. You use the peeler to get a nice strip of peel. Try to avoid the white pith underneath. It's bitter.
Okay, just the colored part.
Yeah, then hold it over the drink, colored side down, give it a little twist or squeeze to express those oils onto the surface. Rub the rim with it, then drop it in or perch it on the side.
Sounds fancy, but doable. What about herbs? Like mint in a mojito.
Fresh herbs are great. Mint, basil, rosemary. A nice touch is to give the sprig a gentle slap between your palms before you put it in the drink.
I slap the herbs.
Wakes them up, releases the aromatic oils without bruising them too much, makes them smell stronger.
Okay, wake up the mint and like cherries or olives.
Cocktail picks are your friend there. Skewer them on a pick. Looks neater, easy to fish out. There's a sort of unwritten rule about using an odd number on a pick. 1 or 3 usually looks best.
Odd numbers, got it. Okay, that makes sense. Back to the liquid for a sec. Measuring. You said use a jigger. Are we talking ounces or milliliters?
Measurements. It can be confusing. You'll see both. Metric ml or ELEAL, where 1 cl is 10 milliliters, and imperial, which is ounces, or Oz.
Which is more common.
A lot of older, especially American recipes use ounces. 1 ounce is roughly about 30 milliliters, just under.
Okay, good to know.
A good jigger often has markings for both, which is helpful. You might also see terms like dash or splash. They're less precise. A dash is tiny, like a few drops from a bitters bottle. A splash is maybe, I don't know, 1/5 of an ounce-ish?
So stick to the jigger for accuracy where possible.
Definitely, especially when you're starting out. It guarantees consistency.
Okay, consistency. And glassware. Do I need a cupboard full of different shaped glasses?
You can build a collection over time, but you can start with just a few versatile ones. A tumbler, also called a rocks glass, or old-fashioned glass, is essential. Good for neat spirits, drinks on ice, really versatile.
Okay, tumbler, check.
Then a taller glass, like a highball or Collins glass. For drinks with mixers, like that G&T or a mojito.
Paul and skidding, got it.
And I'd really recommend a coupe glass, that stemmed glass with the shallow bowl.
Instead of a pointy martini glass.
Yeah, they're more stable, less likely to spill, and honestly, they look great for any drink served up, meaning chilled but without ice in the glass.
Up versus on the rocks.
Exactly. On the rocks, served over ice. Up, chilled, then strained into a glass with no ice. Usually a stemmed glass like a coupe.
Should you chill the glass for an up drink?
Good idea, yeah. Pop it in the freezer for a few minutes, or just fill it with ice and water while you make the drink, then dump the ice water out. Keeps the drink colder longer.
Okay, and you mentioned maybe a wine glass.
Yeah, surprisingly useful. A larger red wine glass is great for spritzes or anything topped with sparkling wine. Lots of room for ice and bubbles.
Okay, wow. Tumbler, highball, coupe, maybe a wine glass. That feels manageable. We've covered quite a lot.
We have, but hopefully it breaks down logically. The core components, spirit, sweet, sour, bitters, that golden ratio, 2.1.1.
The essential tool is shaker, jigger, strainer.
Knowing when to shake versus stir, the importance of ice and fresh juice.
Basic garnishes, measurements, starting glassware. Yeah, it feels much less intimidating now.
That's the idea. Remember those foundations and you're well on your way. Balance is key. The 2.1.1 is your friend starting out. Get comfy with the tools. And don't forget, ice matters. And a nice garnish is always a plus.
So for everyone listening, now that they have these basics, what's next? Just start mixing.
Absolutely. That's the best part. These are guidelines, not rigid rules. Play around. Use that 2.1.1, but try different spirits. Swap lime for lemon. Try honey instead of simple syrup.
See what happens.
Exactly. Adjust the ratios slightly to see what you like best. Maybe you prefer things a bit more tart or a touch sweeter. The goal is to find your perfect balance. That's where the real fun is.
Making it your own. I love that. Okay, this has been super helpful. So final thought for you listening. Now you know the basics. What's one classic cocktail you feel ready to tackle? Maybe a daiquiri, a gimlet, a whiskey sour. And thinking about what we discussed, what little tweak might you make to put your own spin on it?
Or even thinking about that sweet and sour balance, what unusual flavor combo do you think might actually work? Maybe something fruity and herbal. Get creative.
Great questions to ponder. Go experiment, have fun with it.